Sinibingelela sinamukele kuMaskandi Online Magazine nibingelela unjabulo wami khonazi. Today I'm standing with uNota Lavida. Mr. Nota, how are you, sir?
Okay, I've never heard my name said like that. I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm okay. We are here ku album launch listening session ga Xowla Stallion. If you can tell us mhlambe ukuthi when did you meet uNota and how was your experience when you met him? uNota, uXowla ni.
I've never met him. I didn't even know it was his album launch today. I got an invite. I was told to come here, right? And then on the poster, all it had was the featured artists. Okay. So I was like, okay, I've worked with a couple of these guys. You know what I mean? I know some of these guys. I've got some of these guys' numbers. You know, so let me come and check it out. And then only to find, like when I was coming into the parking, I saw a pink Mustang, and I was like, no, that's pink Mustang. Oh, is that Luan Dunkulu? I thought it was Big Zulu. Luan Dunkulu, okay. I saw the pink Mustang, and then I saw the other pink car, and I was like, oh, so this is like Big Zulu's here or something. You know what I mean? So then when I came in, I tried to find a seat close to the front. They said no. The first 2 rows are for the featured artists and the people that are going to be on stage. And then everyone can sit from the 3rd row. So I tried to find the closest seat on the 3rd row because, you know, I'm not wearing my glasses. I left my glasses in the car because I can't see what's on the screen. So, you know, then when I turned around, I saw someone I used to work with back in the day, Golden Uluvo. Okay. Yeah, so for those that don't know Uluvo, you know, you need to know everywhere around the country that he's ever been to, I took him there first. Okay. So I took him there first. So I was like, oh, okay, Ksekayala, okay. So, Yingane Zam. So clearly, Umzugulana Wamlo, Stallion. And I'm proud of how far these guys have taken it. You know, they've been able to take the music and lift it to, you know, an international standard, and then they've also been able to teach others to do the same thing and pass on the lessons. So, you know, I'm very proud of the guys. I see that I taught them very well. Yeah.
Okay. Nota, sometimes you do speak about Maskandi and how the quality of the music itself, it doesn't sound right compared to back then. Maybe if you can elaborate. And there was also a time where you spoke about how I think Ukuzani is being given a big stage whereas there are bigger artists than him in the same industry. Maybe can you elaborate on that?
Well, look, so you must know, Shui is here today. The only reason Shui is here today is because of me. Okay. You understand? Shui never did a feature, ever. Do you understand what I'm saying? Never did a feature ever. The first time they did a feature is because I fetched them from KZN and brought them to the studio. Where Nkabi Records is right now, that was, my old office. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where Shui started doing features. And that's why I told them that they need to tell all the other older artists that, they need to start updating their music. They need to start collaborating. It's just something that they never used to do. So today, these guys collaborate. You know, I think I first made these guys start jumping onto collaborations in 2017. You understand what I'm saying? So 2017, 2018, when we released Danomuntu, which is a which is a revisiting of Ngafa. You understand what I'm saying? And then we updated it with the hip hop sound. So, you know, it's 8 years later now, and the guys have grown. You know what I mean? They've done more collaborations. They've started working together. And now Maskandi is now something that young people can now relate to. You know, so, you know, I spent a lot of time and energy fighting for our genres to be respected, especially by young people, you know, the generations of today, you know. So I'm very proud that the guys have taken the baton on, you know, and done what I've asked. And today is like a result of that. From what I'm able to see, you know, it's a multi-generational album that we've got today. There's a lot of old artists. There's, you know, posthumous features, the works. It's an entire gathering. And I don't think at the time of Shui's height, there were gatherings like this. I don't think at the time of Lucky Dube's height, there were gatherings like this. I don't think at the time when Lucky Dube was still doing Maskandi, there were gatherings like this, you know what I mean? Especially now we're in Sandton, the richest square mile in Africa. You know, it's the financial capital of the entire continent. And it seems like we've successfully managed to take Maskandi out of rural KZN, into the mainstream. And what it needed was hip-hop's energy, hip-hop's innovation. It needed some people that know how hip-hop became a dominant genre globally to now do the same thing for Maskandi and make sure that young people are proud of it as well. And I'm really happy that we've been able to do that. I mean, as for Ukuzan, people need to understand, Mina, I'm an OG in the game. Ne? So when I say things, people mustn't say, hey, ukuluma kakulu, whatever, nyateta. Yeah.
And you speak in English only?
Nyateta.
Oh, okay.
Yabona ukuthetha. It's not, no, ukuthetha.
Ukuthetha is in
NgesiZulu, ukuthetha, yes, ngiyathetha. Why? Ngimdala. You understand what I'm saying? Ngingcwele. You know what I mean? So, abashana bamla. You know what I mean? Abazukulu bam, abanye. You know what I mean? I might be young, but I'm a very young OG. I'm 36 years old. I hear that Ustalion is 31 years old. He just turned 31 years old. You know what I mean? Osminov, Indwana Zam. So to see them doing what they're doing, to see them, getting recognition, it's my work coming into fruition. The mere fact that I put Maskandi on the agenda, you know what I mean? We took a whole entire show, which became the biggest show on YouTube for music in South Africa. And I said that this show cannot continue unless it gives all these other genres, Maskandi, Lekompo, you know what I mean, and all these other genres a chance. We cannot just be an Amapiano country. We're not an Amapiano country. There's more to South Africa than Amapiano. So, I've done my part, and the rest is for other people to do their part. You know what I mean? Mina, I get to come to places I don't even know who's releasing. But, I know that I'm responsible for the fact that he can release today. You know what I mean? And gather people today. And that's the work that I've done. So people need to consider that, when they hear things that I say, that, it's like umzal. When your parent is telling you about something, you need to understand it as isetwais, rather than just being chastised. You know what I mean? And it's very important that you had the older generation of artists also come through to share the same sentiments. They come from a different generation. You know what I mean? Mina, I'm blessed at the fact that I got to work with legends in the business when I was still in high school. So I was introduced to Maskandi music and how to listen to it by Dr. Sipos Todd, who mentored me since I was in high school. So he's been very critical about how Maskandi has lost its musicality, its musicianship. Its stagecraft is still there. People know how to dance and move on stage, get dressed nicely, come in uniforms. The squads are still doing their things. The bingas are, creating a movement, even online. But the music itself, in terms of the production, are we just releasing music because Maskandi music is popular and we know that it's got a crowd that will just eat up anything, or releasing music that's going to move the culture forward? You know what I mean? So I'm very happy that even today in this event, you can see that an artist like Big Zulu comes from my hand. You understand what I'm saying? Because the people that he works with as well are all people that I've trained as well, and I've taught how to present music. Do you understand what I'm saying? So everything that they do, even this thing, Yano Lyrics, it's one of their things. Né? This thing was a concept that I put on a PowerPoint presentation called VPR, which is Video Press Release. Today it becomes a platform called Yano Lyrics. You know what I mean? And that's what it does. It gives publicity through visuals. You know what I mean? Especially when you're releasing music. We're thinking of a concept of how we can make press releases that are made in videos so that we could promote our songs. You know what I mean? And promote new single releases. So all of these things have come together over time, learning certain processes, and now introducing it to a new genre altogether, right? Changes the entire dimension. Do you understand what I'm saying? It changes how people now see the music because of how it's presented. You understand? You take Maskandi, you take this listening session, you put it at the taxi rank. Yes, it's all fine and well, but at the taxi rank, it's not intrusive. It's not disturbing the space. It's not disrupting the space. In a setting like this, you're taking people out of their usual settings. You've got legends, Omar Dandona, who have to book a hotel. He has to drive the 8 hours that it takes, because every Zulu has to stop at Montrose for 2 hours. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So the 8 hours it takes to get to Sandton, to come here for a listening session, those are big deals. You know what I mean? A lot of the bigger artists that are here today, they never had that when they were younger or when they were starting out their careers. They never had people drive 8 hours for a listening session. Those are things that were never done. You know what I mean? So everything is unprecedented. You know what I mean? And that's what makes the presentation of the music as well more valuable. You need to understand that each and every single person in this room, right, that's petrol money, that's food money. A lot of the people that are coming from KZN, that's hotel rooms. So how many thousands of rands are people spending just to be here? Do you understand? That's an investment, and that's the brand value that Stallion Entertainment is also presenting at the same time. So that's something that people need to appreciate, is how do we treat our culture? Do we treat our culture like it's a stolen car, or do we treat it like it's, you know, your father's Jaguar? You know what I mean? That is being passed down. You know what I mean? You need to treat it like it's your father's E-Type. You know what I mean? It's a collector's item. We need to present it in the right way. We need to add value to that. And we need to stay away from gimmicks. There's a lot of artists, especially in the past, you know what I mean? The gimmicks worked and they were good. When we had the beefs between, you know, Omtanden, you know, because and them, that was an era, that's a bygone era, you know what I mean? We weren't around for that, Tina, as young people. We weren't around for that. We don't know how it felt. We don't know what people were talking about during those days. We were still too young. We didn't experience it. The one that we experienced is the one that, you know, was in the last decade. We're in a new decade now. The game has opened up. It's no longer about a binary of having team red, team blue. You know what I mean? It's about having the music get put on the world stage in an authentic a manner as possible, where it doesn't need to change its character, where it doesn't need to lose its authenticity. And that's what we want to stay true to. So at the same time, Okuzani and them are artists. They're in a competitive game. And if someone who's an elder in the game feels like Okuzani are punching below their weight, it needs to be said. Why? Because who's going to kutaza Okuzani when all they have to look at is the younger artists that are learning from them? You know what I mean? The elders need to come into the game and say, listen, you guys need to step it up a notch. You know, you need to up the levels here. And yeah, I mean, I think that's all I try and do. I try and encourage people to understand what it is that South African music is, what it is that South African music represents, and also its potential. Because the people that you are letting down by misrepresenting our culture are all of us. You understand what I'm saying? Our culture is everything to us. Our culture is what gives us our humanity, you know, and our civilization can only be preserved by us adding value enough to our culture that children, generations from now, will want to protect what we had. You understand what I'm saying? Exactly.
So last question. We've seen, I think Maskandi is somehow bigger than Amapiano when we look at the numbers in South Africa right now. But we've seen Amapiano going international. How can we make Maskandi do the same thing? How can we take Maskandi from where it is right now to a global stage?
This is what needs to happen. You know what I mean? Things like this, projects like this where you are mixing it up, you know? I don't think that the goal should be to go international. I think the goal should be to make it national. Maskandi is not national yet. You understand? It's not nationwide across the country. It's where Zulu people are, that they are playing Maskandi music for everybody else. People are enjoying the music, but they're not playing it voluntarily as the music that they favor. You know what I mean? If you can go into the rural heartland of Limpopo, you will hear Amapiano playing. You'll hear Amapiano playing, because Amapiano is national. You understand? Everyone plays Amapiano. Yes, they play their cultural music as well, but Amapiano plays because it's a national sound. Now, Maskandi has not been able to do that. You know what I mean? It's not a national sound yet. It's not a republic sound. It belongs to the Zulu nation. Do you understand what I'm saying? And we're a multi-ethnic nation. You know what I mean? We've got many nationalities. So it's up to, especially the Maskandi artists, to start collaborating outside of their nationality, outside of their ethnicity. You know what I mean? And then the cross-pollination will manifest itself into broader reach and eventually global success. You know, those are the things that people are looking for. People are looking for something that is at least going to move the needle. And when you look at the biggest markets in the world when it comes to streaming, which is what people look for, you know what I mean, when they look for international opportunities, you got the United States, you got the United States, I think you've got Japan, number 2, you've got United Kingdom and Germany. You know what I mean? Those are the top 4 nations. Those are Western nations, right? In South Africa, we're a small nation. Population-wise, we're as big as the UK or maybe South Korea, similar sizes, right? But in terms of our income, you know, our per capita GDP, we're much smaller than them. So the amount of money that can be generated from capturing our market is far less than the money that can be generated from capturing international markets. You understand? So the incentive is there for Maskandi artists to start bridging the gaps internationally themselves, to stop spending their money, right, on building gigantic houses and getting gigantic bonds, because those are things that hold you back, unfortunately. You know, you need to think of it like a business, and unfortunately your business is going to take away from your lifestyle. You know, so the lifestyle of a lot of artists means that they invest more in staying at home and living comfortably at home than they do in expanding their horizons abroad. And unfortunately, they miss the opportunity of earning in higher income countries and earning in stronger currencies and earning foreign currencies, right, at their prime, because they spend all that money taking care of ensuring that they look good in terms of lifestyle amongst their peers in South Africa. You know what I mean? Maskandi artists of yesteryear didn't have to compete with a guy who's got a coal mine in Mpumalanga. You know what I mean? When he comes home and he has to build his mother a house. If you were a big Maskandi artist, you were building your mother the biggest house in your village back then. Now there's coal mining guys, there's, you know, logistics guys, there's trucking business guys, there's shisanyama owners, there's taxi owners, there's all these different business people that creating lifestyle emakaya. That means that people spend more on luxury goods rather than investing in what actually matters in their business. You know, a truck driver will never have to expand his business into other countries, or he won't have to. You know what I mean? He won't have to. But you as a musician, you need to expand your business into other countries. So you need to invest differently. You need to have a different lifestyle. And I think that's some of the advice that they don't get.
No, thank you very much, Nota. The last is
problem.
Maskandi Online Magazine, and then we leave.
Yeah, Maskandi Online Magazine. I'm back. Thank you for featuring me. You guys featured me. And I went viral on TikTok, right? And thank you to all the people that listened to what I was saying. You understand? And the people that also respected the amount of years I've been in this business. You know, I've been in this business over 20 years. You know what I mean? Professionally. You know what I mean? Since the first time my productions played on Metro FM, that was 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And that's a very big radio station. There's many children today who have never heard their music playing on Metro FM, who would kill for that opportunity. I had that when I was still in school, in high school. You know, and beyond that, I've done work to open the doors for other children to have that dream come true for themselves today, you know, and that's why a lot of people are here to this day, down to this event without even knowing it, you know what I mean? And that's due to dedication to the craft and a love for my country and its people, right, and representing our music as best as possible. So I don't take anything personally, and I encourage you guys, right, to not do as I do, but do as I say. Take South African music personally, you know what I mean? You guys are the owners of it. You guys are its gatekeepers. You guys are its protectors. And for it to expand, it needs the music-loving public to support it functionally. You know what I mean? To support it in ways that will help it grow. And that means also supporting the artists that are helping it grow. You know, there are many artists, there are many popular artists, but the handful that are making it grow are not getting the requisite support that they need, because maybe sometimes they're not as popular as those who are getting all the support and all the love. So let's spread the love across the entire genre. Let's spread the love across the entire country as well, and understand that you can't gatekeep South African culture from South Africans, you know what I mean, by keeping it in a certain region. You know what I mean? That's how it dies. That's what happened with Grom. People try to keep Grom in Durban. You understand what I'm saying? And look where it is right now. You know what I mean? Yes, it's still there, but, you know, it doesn't have any hope of ever growing. No one discusses it. No one's going to interview me and say, hey, do you think Grom will ever go international? You know what I'm saying? Because they've forgotten about it. Maskandi started many years before Grom. You know what I mean? When Grom was dominating, no one wanted to hear Maskandi. But now it's back. You understand what I'm saying? And that's because of the genuine love that Maskandi supporters have had for the culture itself, and they made sure that it could not be gate-kept away from the people. And I'd like to appreciate them. I'd like to appreciate you guys for the work that you're doing. Umsebenzi wenu uyanqomeka, ngicela uNkulunkulu anandisele. Ngiyabonga.
Sure.